Welcome back to the GameLink podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Lebbi, and as always, I'm joined by my friend Elmer through Skype today. Or this
Ahoy,
time.
hoy.
Today, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Um, but before we get into that, it's been a while. We had like the holidays, so we had to postpone, and then I got COVID, so we had to postpone, and now my partner has COVID, so that's why we're doing it remote today. But I'm glad to be back. How's the last few weeks been for you, Elmer?
A living nightmare. I think pretty much everyone else would agree with that this holiday season. At least here in the Midwest, we've had nothing but a combination of ice storms, snowstorms, and snowy ice storms.
Yeah.
It's been insane. I can't remember the last time this area has had this many snow days. I mean, it's incredible. Everybody else appears to like it when they're able to telecommunicate to work, but considering, I don't know, I have a 2 block walk to my work, I kind of really have no excuse to be able to call in saying, oh no, I'm stuck. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, if I wasn't homesick with COVID, I like wasn't able to safely get to work at all. So I didn't leave the house for like 9 days, which sounds nice, but if you consider half the time I was like so sick I couldn't move, and then the rest of the time I was so sick of not being able to leave the couch that I kind of went a little stir crazy. But yeah, what did do you end up doing anything interesting or seeing anything good?
Well, pretty much throughout the entirety of the month of December when we weren't on here, Archangel and I, we basically tried to digest as many classic Christmas movies as we could. Uh, we decided to skip Elves this year, but maybe I might be able to talk her back into watching it next year. But Violent Night, as well as the Guillermo del
Oh,
Toro produced Pinocchio, are two of the ones that we are definitely going to be adding to our regular repertoire in terms of this, pardon me, time of the year. But one thing that I did get to add to my arsenal this year, which unfortunately we were supposed to do an episode before Christmas, but because of some health issues on my end, unfortunately, everybody, just to make you really smile, one night one Sunday morning, I woke up with chest pains and went, Lebbi, I'm not going to be able to drive down. So,
yeah.
yay, that's one Christmas miracle this year that's completely gone away. But no, I was actually going to show up that day, which is the weekend before Christmas, in a Santa Claus costume. And my God, I've gotten so much mileage out of that Santa suit this year. It has been incredible. I got to sit at my work in a Santa suit and, as a pawnbroker telling people, oh, yeah, no, your stuff isn't worth it, so you're not going to be able to afford your sister's medicine this Christmas. Oh, that is a feeling knowing that I have a special place in hell. So, yay.
Yeah, you get anything? You get anything interesting for
Oh,
Christmas?
I've gotten the ultimate ice scraper for my car. I have gotten the ultimate setup, or should say, morning setup for my personals, my testicles, my spectacles, my wallet, my watch, and my phone all connect on a one unit at this point.
Oh,
But
nice, nice. I think getting an ice scraper is like the most Minnesotan thing you could have said.
I can actually clean my car with this thing in the actual summertime. It's got both a squeegee and a really nice scrub brush on it. So yeah, I can get my Subaru looking really nice and sporty. How about
Nice.
yourself, man? What did you get?
Uh, yeah, we went up to my parents for Christmas, and I gave my nieces Tamagotchis. Apparently, the new Tamagotchis have like cameras in them and everything. I think I was more excited about it than they were because they were really excited when they opened it. But then, about 5 minutes into using it, the one goes, "I'm bored." I'm like, "Oh, great." But yeah, I got the Sonic the Hedgehog Encyclopedia hardcover book. It's been pretty fun, kind of just perusing through a little bit. So that's a nice like coffee table book thing that I got. Um, Otherwise, yeah, I just watched a lot of TV, made a bunch of food. Um, I realized I'd never finished watching Silicon Valley. If you've never heard of it, anyone out there, it's a Mike Judge show about like a tech startup company. It's like a comedy. It's really good. I never finished it when that was airing back in the day, so I had enough time while I was sick with COVID to just finish the whole series. And yeah, Mike Judge is just a national treasure. But besides that, I watched a bunch of horror movies because it's the holidays, of course. We watched, or I watched Terrifier 2 finally, which if you don't know about the Terrifier movies, they're like a really like almost cheesy, but like in a good way, like slasher film uh, with like a clown as the main like antagonist. They really don't shy away from like showing anything like gory or playing on classic slasher tropes too much. So it's fun to watch, but it is kind of gross at times. But I really liked it. You've seen the first one, haven't you, Elmer?
I did. I have seen the first one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's just been dealing with the terrible, terrible roads in the Midwest here. Um, so
Oh,
yeah, I'm I'm glad to be back,
I
and
should
especially
we
with
should
a good movie.
especially with a good movie, because also we should kind of also say, I mean, unfortunately, unless you have a non-disclosure agreement because of it, but we I guess we should also say what the one thing that was national news that you got to be technically a part of.
Oh, is it some airline thing?
Well, I was going to say the Minneapolis, the Minneapolis International Airport Tokyo drifting moment there.
You're the only person I've heard talk about it. I don't even know about it. I wasn't in the office for any of this. If anyone doesn't know, I work for an airline. I won't say which one because it doesn't matter. But uh,
Well, it kind
yeah,
of matters in the story here. Of okay, I will stop telling the story then. Anyway, if you people saw the news this past week, you might know what we're talking about.
yeah, it's been pretty slick. I was telling Elmer earlier that there was at least a dozen or two dozen accidents right outside my house yesterday, just because of how crappy the roads are. So, but anyway, on to Detective Pikachu. I'm really glad that we're doing like talking about a good movie around the holidays, just because of how busy everything's been, and even though we took a few weeks off, it was it was nice to like not have to like work my way through another shitty movie.
There's a reason
um,
we go months between Uvable, and I mean like quarters between Uvables.
we could only handle so much Yuva.
And there's already so much Uva.
Yeah, and so this episode might be a little quick, even though like Detective Pikachu was, a really popular release. It's really hard to find any sort of like behind the scenes info type stuff on the game and the movie. Apparently, so I apologize if it's a short episode, but Detective Pikachu. It was a game. It came out in 2016. I think it maybe came out a little later than that in the U.S., but obviously it's a game about a Pikachu who is a detective and wears a little Sherlock Holmes hat.
A
Um,
fox hunter, which, or no, sorry, a deer
a
stalker is the
deer
actual term
stalker,
for that.
yeah. Um, I guess you could kind of like see the concept for it in like 2013, like during during an airing of the Pokemon anime in Japan, they had like a interview with the CEO of the Pokemon company, and he kind of like hinted at a new game they were working on with Pikachu, and I think in that interview, the Pikachu was just like wearing a blue hat or something. Uh, but later on, they I think they had like a Pokemon card with Pikachu with the Deerstalker hat, and so they kind of used that for the idea. But yeah, he's on the case to solve mysteries, and they released this game for the 3DS, and it's one of the few Pokemon games, or maybe the only one actually, where a Pokemon actually talks like actual language. So that's really cool. Let's see, who was it? Junichi Masuda. He was the series director and composer. He wanted to have a talking Pikachu, and he said that he wanted it to originally be in the anime, but the show's producer was unable to come up with a concept that Game Freak was willing to accept. So I'm glad it finally came because it works really well. I mean, even with Ryan Reynolds doing it in the movie, doesn't really fit how it was in the game. In the game, it was more like a vanilla, deeper male voice, but
Well, do you not remember from that era when they were trying to fan cast when they announced, "Oh yes, we will be making a Detective Pikachu film"? That everybody was going, "Oh no, there's only one person who could do the voice of Pikachu. We need Danny DeVito
Danny,
to do."
that's what they say about everything.
I know. That's every fan cast. Oh, we need a new Wolverine, Danny
Yeah,
DeVito.
Danny DeVito should have voiced Mario. You know.
Danny DeVito was the original choice for Mario, but then Danny DeVito looked at the script and said, "You fucking shitting me."
Yeah, but so the game is pretty much just like the movie. So you played a young boy who explored Rhyme City. It's called, which is a like a big like New York like metropolis. Uh, both people and Pokemon live there. Like the rule is like no Pokemon fighting, no Pokeballs. Like everyone contributes type of thing.
Hmm.
Detective Pikachu lives in this city. He's searching to find clues. There's like also puzzles and little like riddles for the player to solve in the game and stuff. So as far as I understand, it's a pretty good game for the 3DS. I haven't actually played it. Just for some reason, I bought the 3DS on launch day and I played it for a week and then I almost never touched it again. But apparently, the game really appealed to both children and adults. So that's, I mean, that kind of speaks volumes about what kind of game it was, and it wasn't developed by Game Freak like the normal Pokemon games were. It was developed by Creatures Inc., which is pretty much just another Pokemon company, but they also worked on games like Mother and Earthbound and Smash Brothers, and I think they did a bunch of work on the Game Boy Camera software too. So I can see you moving, Elmer. I know you're
Damn
faking.
it.
uh,
Little trick I learned from our good friend Andrew WK back in the day in terms of how to screw with people during an interview. But yes, no. I remember hearing a little bit about the development of Detective Pikachu back in the day, and no, it's kind of fun to think about the fact that Game Freak, beyond them, they actually allowed development of some sort of a sidequel to the general Pokemon universe, which they've been in control of, pretty much almost 30 years now, I think it is, that Pokemon's coming up on.
yeah, Pokemon's been around for a while, but yeah, Game Freak was like the main Pokemon developer for a long time, and then Creatures Inc. kind of started picking up slack like more and more as time went on, and now that's pretty much all Creatures Inc. does is Pokemon stuff. But Game Freak will handle the mainline stuff. Creatures Inc. will handle like the spin-off stuff. So they did like Pokemon Snap and like Hey You Pikachu and all those like little spin-off Pokemon games.
Wait, seriously? They're the ones we can blame for the Poke Channel?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but they let's see. So they didn't actually release an official trailer for the game until January 2016, 1 week before the actual game's release. So I think that's one reason why the game isn't as popular as like a lot of the other Pokemon games, because otherwise I think we would be hearing everyone talk about how great this game was. But as far as I know, I never heard any of my friends really like talking about it or anything like that. So um,
Also, we were in our 20s when this came out, and not that many people are talking regularly about Game Boy games, unfortunately, there, buddy.
oh yeah, the 3DS games, true. Um, but good news is, they've said for the last couple of years that they're developing a new Detective Pikachu game for the Nintendo Switch.
Mm.
So, and I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know how they're gonna do it with the way that the movie ended. But I hope that means another Detective Pikachu movie too.
LA Noir Pikachu Edition. Or Pikachu Noir. Oh my god.
uh,
Pikachu with a 38 snub nose tucked underneath somebody's chin. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Click.
uh, yeah, no, that would be great. Well, especially with with someone like Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu, he kind of always has that little bit of a jokester attitude to like every character he plays. So something like that I feel would have been perfect for a Ryan Reynolds voiced Pikachu, but uh, with what they do with this movie, I don't see that happening again. You know?
Well, with what we discussed during the movie, maybe just maybe, if you and I do our own speculations what they could do with a sequel to this, we might be able to figure out something fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Did you find anything good about the movie?
Not really, unfortunately. So basically, kind of the most entertaining part of this film is the fact that just because of how quick the memes were starting to catch on in the United States after Nintendo released a lot of the gameplay video online for Detective Pikachu, they actually decided to fast track the production of a film. And when they figured to themselves, we need to fast track a family friendly adaptation of our most beloved characters. Who is the right person to bring into this? And they went, oh, hey, would you look at that? Hi, Eric Pearson. And they hired on the guy who actually went on to write Thor Ragnarok and Godzilla versus Kong to do one hell of a screen rewrite from a gumshoe detective story into, oh, look at that, it's Pokemon Encyclopedia Brown. But alongside that, they brought in a director by the name of Rob Letterman. This is the gentleman that did the Gulliver and Travels movie with Jack Black and Lebbi, this is going to hurt when I say this, 13 years ago.
Oh man,
On top of that, though, he has
that
done
movie was
some.
not good. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. No. That movie was terrible. However, and this is really going to make your head hurt, he's also the gentleman that directed Shark Tale,
Oh,
Monsters vs. Aliens, and Goosebumps.
okay.
But here's the thing, though. He is currently slated as the showrunner for the what do you call that? Should I just read that earlier? Where'd it go? Oh, Beyond Good and Beyond Good and
Oh,
Evil.
okay.
He's going to be the showrunner for that adaptation for Netflix coming up soon. But no, hey, I'm not gonna lie. I did actually enjoy Monsters vs. Aliens, Goosebumps, and Detective Pikachu. So you know what? If anything, having played a little bit of Beyond Good and Evil, I thought the game was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I see promise with this gentleman for doing that. But no, beyond that, they kind of just reached out and they kind of grabbed up as many different character actors within the pardon me, grabbed as many different character actors as they could within the sort of genre sphere that they get their hands on. I mean, Bill Nighy, aka Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, one of the main bad guys from the Underworld films. Sean's dad from stepdad from Shaun of the Dead. They brought him into it to play kind of the spoiler alert, big bad. Justice Smith, who was kind of on the rise at that point from being on many different TV shows as well as being in the Jurassic World films.
Or as I've been calling him, Bill Nighy, the science guy. He.
Oh yes, that is much so.
Yeah.
Or he's also, I've been saying because of his sobriety, when you said, oh shit, I forgot that Bill Nighy was in this. I said, hey, don't worry, Bill Nighy probably forgot he was in. Well, you told me that the one of the main actresses in this was also in Freaky as of late, which I
Yeah.
have unfortunately not had a chance to watch. I do want to watch it, but you tell me it's good, so you know what? I'm
It's
excited to
good.
watch.
It's good. It's a little camp, but some camp is good in a horror movie the way they did it.
Oh,
So
definitely,
definitely worth a watch.
definitely. And yeah, and then there's Ryan Reynolds in this, who does nothing but spout off exposition that makes me go, oh my god, if this was not coming out of Pikachu, this movie would have an R to a PG-13 rating. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it was pretty much Deadpool for kids.
Which I'm completely here for, but I mean, at the same time, I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell did this Pikachu just say?
Yeah, yeah, it was good. It, I always kind of thought that Ryan Reynolds was an interesting choice. Like I never really picture Pikachu having Ryan Reynolds' voice, but the way that they animated Pikachu was so adorable. I think the voice is secondary to how freaking cute it is. So
Well, here's the funny part. The actual facial capture for whenever Pikachu is staring at the camera and talking, that is facially captured off of Ryan Reynolds.
well, he is a good-looking guy, so
He is an adorable looking gentleman.
yeah. No, this was only my second time seeing Detective Pikachu, and I got to see it in 4K this time. But I was telling you during the movie, like I don't remember it looking that like impressive as far as like the CG goes. But it was a lot better than I remember it being when we saw it in theaters. So it
Okay,
was a
I'm
pleasant surprise.
okay. So I've made so many asterisks, promises, and have so many unwritten contracts that we cannot tell the actual story of this for another 10 years. But I can tell this part of the story of when we got to see this for the first time.
Yeah.
So Lebby, myself, and a few other good friends of ours, we met up at a bar locally in Minnesota, the Anoka region, at the Muddy Cow. And we thought to ourselves, oh, let's just, have a nice dinner and then go to the movie. And during that, Lebby goes, hey, you know what? I bet if anything, and slight spoiler for the movie, he goes, I'll bet the ultimate twist ending of the movie is that Pikachu was his father the entire time. We all turned and looked at Lebby and laughed and said, now wouldn't that be the dumbest shit possible?
Yeah, that is so stupid. Everyone said.
Anyway, an hour and 45 minutes later, probably closer to 2 hours later, 2 hours, many a cocktail and other substances later, we're sitting in the theater and a sudden twist appears in terms of this major theatrically released movie that is currently going on. And me and an individual we shall know as Shanel realize, wait a minute, did Lebby literally just pull a it's a motherfucking flat, we didn't land on the moon Earth kind of situation? And we hear on the reclining chairs, the AMC Coon Rapids Theater, we just hear just slam and smack, stand up, and we just both turn and look to our right, and there is Lebby glaring at us with doing a full-on power sit-up with the look of, did I call it or did I call it?
Well, and to
I
be
have
fair, I
never
made this
laughed that hard.
prediction. I made the prediction before anyone had ever seen the movie,
You had,
and
you had.
and I
But
was just as surprised.
the look of pride on your face for calling that out. That's the best part. That is the best part. Just the look of, I fucking knew it. And the look we gave you was, you called it, but really, how the fuck did you call that?
Well, and I think I told you earlier too. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that's how the game ends too. But like I said before, I never played the game, and I don't actually know how I know that. But apparently, I knew that at the time when the movie came out too. So
Either way, suddenly hearing the sound of somebody in the back row just so self-assuredly slapping the vinyl leather on the reclining chairs in an AMC doing a power sit-up, and then hearing two other people giggling with hysterics. I bet all the parents in that theater thought, "Oh my god, it's either a weird theft cult or they're gonna execute it, one by one." Oh my god!
I was just doing my best not to burst out laughing and ruining the movie for all the children. You know.
Oh no! But as soon as he looked at us like that, we did burst out laughing, and we did ruin it for all of the children. So you know what? Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this movie, it's up until the ending, though. I still think the ending is one of the worst things a movie could do.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, it's not a terrible ending for it.
It
For what
works.
they did, it works. It works for what it is.
It works. It's stupid, but the rest of the movie, really, really surprisingly good. Great animation. Some of the acting could be better, but like, it's for kids mostly, right? But they kind of shoe in enough references to adult movies and things like that. What were some of the references you caught, Elmer?
Dear God, I was laughing every single time, and I only thought there was only a handful when we saw it in the theater. I guess I should say I've only seen this movie twice before we rewatched it tonight. But no, I was catching references to pretty much at the beginning of it, a little bit of Sergeant York. Hilariously, I was giggling when they brought up references to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a little bit to the Home Alone franchise, Goodfellas, Reservoir Dogs. I mean, the entire way through, I'm just like, holy shit, they're getting away with a lot in this movie, man.
Yeah, it's really good. I guess we'll try to summarize it kind of quickly here. Uh, Looks like a kid like fresh out of high school, I think, goes to like the big like rhyme city because his dad was a detective there and recently died, and so he's like going to close up his apartment and go through whatever he needs to, I guess, whatever. Starts finding out that maybe his dad is still alive. He finds this talking Detective Pikachu that was his dad's partner, and uh, they find some like sort of like gas drug thing, and try to go around and investigate and figure out what happened to his dad or whatever. Uh, Kind of like your basic like detective like gumshoe story. but just really charming with all the Pokemon references and stuff, and it's really integrated well. And I do like one of the things I noticed is they didn't really put a whole lot of like the new Pokemon in the movie, and I think they did it on purpose because there would be so many adults watching it with their kids, and they didn't want to completely just confuse all these adults that only paid attention for the first two generations. So I think that's one reason it worked really really well. But
Adults who only paid attention to it for two generations. Are you talking about you and myself?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much anyone our age, once they start working full time, doesn't have as much time and as ambition as they once did to sit and memorize 900 creatures.
Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not calling attention to the fact that I'm not calling attention to the fact that we ourselves don't understand any more of the later Pokemon generations. I'm just pointing at the fact that, so what you're saying is Detective Pikachu was intended for you, me, and everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Basically, we
Oh yeah.
graduated high school with. Oh, good, 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 good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But
Kids
yeah,
in the
so they.
theater, where's the no Cheetos? I don't fucking know, kids. Shut up.
But like you'd imagine, they end up figuring out, the the dad was involved in some big case, and the big bad guy is like the rich guy who is trying to find a cure for humanity or something. It end up finding out that they had captured Mewtwo, and so Mewtwo is kind of like the big bad, but only because he's being mind controlled by the actual bad guy. Like it's a whole kind of thing there where they used Mewtwo as both a good guy and a bad guy. So it was really cool. Um,
And hilariously, they talk about, oh no, we caught him over in the Kanto region about 20 years ago, and we have been experimenting on him since.
yeah, basically referencing the first Pokemon movie with Mewtwo, where they make him and he escapes from the Kanto region. Apparently, he's been free for 20 years, and then they captured him again. So it is kind of cool how they really tried to tie things in like that. Um, and without going through every scene of the movie, those are like pretty much the beats. Is they figure out who the bad guy is, and then they have a big fight in the city, and then they win, and then you find out that Pikachu's the kid's dad, and happy ending.
Happy ending. No, not that kind of happy ending. Happy ending. No, no, no.
Yeah, what was your favorite part, Elmer?
Oh, I would definitely have to say all the jokes with Psyduck, because I have to admit Psyduck is probably my second favorite Pokemon, and them driving in the shitty little smart car with Pikachu and Psyduck in the car seats in the back, and them listening to Anya-esque spa music is just a thing of beauty. With Ryan Reynolds making fun of the situation, going, "Huh? So you're telling me that you're an atomic bomb with a migraine? Great."
Yeah, yeah, the Psyduck stuff was really good. For me, it was the Mr. Mime bits were also great. They had this whole interrogation with the Mr. Mime where he doesn't talk, but he mimes everything out, and
They literally whip out a Reservoir Dogs reference when they coat him in gasoline.
yeah.
And then Mr. Mime completely confirms to the audience, oh, yes, he does have a butthole. It's just like, oh, goddamn, a cartoon character. No.
Yeah, it was a great bit, and then the other one I liked was there was like the underground Pokemon fighting ring, and a bunch of that gas gets loose, and all the Pokemon go crazy, and Pikachu is like, "Hang on, I got a plan," and throws a magic carp at a Charizard. Is like, it can transform into a Gyarados, but then it doesn't.
And
But
then
then
it
it
does.
actually does, and
Do you
Yeah.
remember the actual like web comic from back in the day that some dude did where he goes, "As my starter Pokemon, I choose a Magikarp." They're like, "What the hell are you gonna do, Magikarp?" He goes, "Easy. Every every battle he has with it, he just yells at the Magikarp, 'Do Harden,' and then he picks the Magikarp up on the tail and beats the living piss out of the other Pokemon with it. So that way he evolves it into an actual Gyarados within no time."
I don't think I've seen that one.
it, it's back in the day. It's a funnier premise than it is an actual comic. But anytime I see the Gyarados, meme of just being like, oh no, you go from being carp, carp, magic carp into an actual Gyarados. This is like, oh, I see that now.
Well, I think even in the game, like Magikarp, what's its move, like jump or something like that. Uh,
Splash.
yeah, splash. Maybe that's it. It has like a 1 in 1,000 or like a 1 in 100 chance of being like a critical hit and one hit killing anything. So Magikarp is kind of just the ultimate Pokemon, like sometimes, but mostly not.
It's like the world's scariest version of of Russian roulette. You know, 999,999 times out of 10, you just drop dead. But that 1 out of 1 million chance, you turn into motherfucking Godzilla.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good references. If you haven't seen the movie, I definitely recommend it. With that being said, I think you know what we're gonna say, but Elmer, bop or a flop for you, buddy?
Oh, bop and a hell and a half. Dear God. I mean, since the first time I've seen it, and like I said, I've seen it two other times since then, this movie is extremely fun, and it is a fantastic way of introducing younger people to the genre as well as to, well, you know what? Movies in general. I mean, this has everything you need to actually see for a film and get kids into, say, like detective stories or action
Yeah,
movies. And simultaneously, if they're fans of Pokemon or not fans of Pokemon, guess what? They're going to walk out of that going, where can I get myself a Pikachu plush? This movie is fantastic.
yeah, yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. This is definitely a bop for me. Uh, Kind of to add on to what you said, it has something for everyone, pretty much. Like I haven't really been into Pokemon at all recently, especially around the time that this came out. But you don't really need to be. You don't even have to like Pokemon at all to kind of enjoy this movie for like following the detective movie beats and things like that. Definitely a lot better than I remember it being, and yeah, I can definitely see myself watching this again soon. So yeah, bop for me.
I mean, dear God, Pikachu makes a reference potentially there being Pokemon prostitution, and it's just like, oh, we need to dig into this further next time.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that they find a way to make a sequel, maybe based off the Switch game they're making, because they really nailed this movie. I think if this would have came out when we were kids, uh, it would have been one of my favorite movies for sure. But
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, that's the meme about this movie is this movie kind of came and went. Unfortunately, it was a good movie. People liked it, and then no one ever talked about it after
and
seeing it
yeah,
for the first time. Sadly.
yeah, that's a good point. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it since it came out. You're right, but I hope so. I mean, I hope people don't forget it anyway because it's a good watch. So with that being said, I think we'll end it here. Keep an eye out on our YouTube channel because I will be um, transferring a lot of my energy that I had been putting into streaming into making videos for the YouTube instead. And I think we're also going to try to start streaming to YouTube as well as Twitch. So To find us on YouTube or to find us on any of the other podcast sites, go to gamelink.click. You can also find our Patreon there if you want to support us. And if you like video game hardware and soldering stuff, kind of tutorial videos like that, keep an eye out on our YouTube because I have started a couple projects that I'm filming for the YouTube. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you have anything to add, Elmer?
Not really at this time, but no, hey, going forward, hey, everybody out there, stay safe, stay warm, and stay sexy out there.
See you next time, guys.
And I